I always knew there was more to this world, but I didn't know who, what, and how. And I would always ask the universe, please send me or send somebody. There's got to be more to life than this, And then you came along and I felt like I started kindergarten again, which was amazing, you know. So I will ever, ever, ever be so grateful that you were born.
Imagine discovering a pathway that cuts through the noise of trying to heal, to instead offer you a clear, revolutionary initiation into your most connected, abundant, loved, and purpose-filled self. A place where your dreams transform into personal reality. I'm Allura Halliwell, founder of the Consciousness Method, and it's with deep gratitude that I connect with beautiful souls who have already experienced this transformative method firsthand. They'll share how it has profoundly changed their lives and led them into inner truth. Hello, Donna. Welcome to the Consciousness Method podcast.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. I'm so honored you're here. Had a beautiful journey together. Oh my goodness, it feels like a lifetime, but we've literally been working together for just since the retreat last year in November, so a bit over like 7-8 months now.
Yep.
Tell me, how were you when we met at the retreat? Let's start there so everyone can listen to what life was like before you began this work.
An absolute mess. Yep.
What was such a mess?
My life, the looping, the circles, the repetitiveness, doing the same thing, different day, not knowing how to change things, walk away from things, learn to say no. There were so many things. My life was just a mess. I knew it, but I didn't know how to change it.
And you were a seeker as well. You're an incredible intuitive, but you've also been doing a lot of work for a long time. So Tell me what kind of things you'd sort of been trying or where you'd sort of been looking for the answers, but not really finding them.
I've tried so many different types of therapists, both mainstream, alternative, and they helped at that moment with a Band-Aid, more so than anything. Wonderful people. But I walked away after a few days just not feeling satisfied, just not feeling as though I really had, I had answers, but there was no strategies. There was nothing for me to take home. There was nothing for me to work on, and then that would fade, and then I'd loop and circle again. I've been seeing therapists for a few decades. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm so glad that we found each other, because I feel like this way of working just resonated so beautifully with you from the beginning. You've been so committed to doing this work, and I'd love to share even a little bit from the beginning, because I remember you at the first retreat. You came along probably not knowing quite what to expect, and we started to dig. Do you remember some of the things that kind of came up in that space, and how was it like? What was it like to begin the journey there?
Well, I really felt that I was punched in the face spiritually in a good way, but, I had major past life insights. I remember about 15 or 17 of my past lives, and it was the very first time that I'd had added past lives onto the ones that I already knew, the snippets. And that blew me away, because it was the flip side of the coin. It was digging deep into what I had contributed to whatever that was, whether it was good or not good. It was really riveting. It was really, I went home after the retreat last November, like for a long time, for weeks and weeks, still getting my head around things still dropping and, the pieces of the puzzle. So, yeah, and I'm looking forward to this next retreat in November. Yep.
I can't wait to have you there. But it was almost like your consciousness went whoosh and started to bring all that in. And as you say, the other side of the coin, which maybe you hadn't been able to access before to see your piece in it. Often we feel like we're such a victim to all the things that have ever happened to us. And sometimes we don't get the access to see how we've had to play it out in the creation with it. And I think you've been so masterful in widening your view to see the whole story. Can you maybe share for me? And then as we went on into the mentorship, we started to kind of deep dive methodically through a lot of the core spaces. Would you be willing to share a little bit of some of the stories, or maybe one of the bigger stories that felt very trapped and stuck for you in how it was running for you, maybe about your life or your family, that began to kind of crack open as we started to do the work?
I'm getting emotional now. It's one of the biggest ones that I feel that I've ever realised, taken ownership, but also realised it wasn't okay when I was married decades ago. And I didn't realise how it had affected my future romantic relationships, and that I was actually still carrying it with me. I thought with all this therapy that I dealt with it, I understood it. And what I realised was you were the very first person to know the gory details. And it was like I was out of my body. It was like surreal because I'd been hanging on to it for so long. And all these pieces that you helped me connect and put together, even with my children, even protecting this man from my children allowed him to get away with it. And that's exactly what you said to me. And what he did to me was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. It was blood-curdling. And I've decided to add that to my book.
Amazing.
Not for anything else other than to make it real, and it's the truth. I then wrote him a letter. You suggested I contact him, but I wasn't sure whether he would turn up or he would just walk away after I started talking. So I decided to write a letter. And, I wrote pages of things that he did to me when we were married for 10 years. And I swore a lot. And I let him know that it wasn't okay and how it actually damaged my physical body. So it was pretty horrendous in one aspect, but really liberating in another. And I did this in December, so it wasn't long after the November retreat. And after the Christmas and New Year and everything, I just felt this sense of that is done. That is so done. Whether it's past life, this life, it is done. And I never, ever will see him again. So,
so courageous of you to free yourself in that form and to honor and acknowledge that it was still running. And this is the thing that I see so often. We've done so much work on something, but it's still running in our inner template. And everyone's going to have a unique path of being able to move that through the body and the energy system and the consciousness. And your path was so beautifully constructed for you to actually express and verbalize those things and put a really clear internal boundary around that space to free yourself. And I just want to honor how that was so deeply transformational for you. I remember witnessing you just beginning to look like another human, like your energy changed so much in that. It was really profound to witness. And then from there, we also did some pretty deep work around realizing the fractals of your situation growing up and how that was playing out in your reality around you, and beginning to identify how these core pains when we're kids are kind of just repeating for us in this mirror system that just shows us all those things that we haven't quite felt. Are you happy to share a little bit, Donna, about how that beginning to see the reality and the reflection back to that early experience that you had began to open that?
Yeah, sure. When I was 4, my 2-year-old brother and I were put in an orphanage by our grandmother, who was very racist. So being half Chinese, she was disgusted. And we were there for 18 months. So I remember a lot of what happened there. You know, I tried to protect my brother at the ripe old age of, 4, 5, 6 when we finally came out. You know, he was abused sexually. And I took it upon myself to be his mother for many decades afterwards. Being 16 months younger than me, he was the only family that I had. And it terrified me to lose him. You know, and it's just incredible, this tree trunk that goes off into so many different branches in your life within yourself that affects, that you don't put 2 and 2 together, that you don't know that decades and decades later that this is why, what, and how. And as you have said, children are victims. They don't have a choice. And I carried that for decades, up until recently through working with you, that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I was only worthy of being used and abused in all shapes and forms. So lots of tears, lots of happy tears, but lots of letting go. And it was like, it's okay, Donna, especially little Donna, it's okay, you did nothing wrong to deserve that. But I still carried that within my adulthood as like a child. So it was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Donna, you have just, I could feel goosebumps and tears at the same time, because you've just stepped through so many layers and so many awarenesses and so much consciousness, and you've just been so committed to making the unconscious conscious and joining those dots in your reality. And I've really witnessed you stepping in and stretching your nervous system time and time again through those spaces where it's being like, oh, hold on, we've hit that wall of that belief or that sensation in the body or the fear that's protecting that pain. And I've seen you stretch yourself beyond that to open up more and more life, and especially in the relationships with your children. What do you feel has kind of shifted and transformed while you've been doing this work through those spaces?
For me, it's been me. I've connected with the little girl within, and I think she's amazing. And she's okay now. But what's shifted for me is, the proof is in the pudding with your relationships in your real world, in your reality. Some have fallen by the wayside, which is meant to, obviously meant to be, because you can't take them where you're going. Unless you want to stay where you were, then fine. And once you do this work with you just can't go back. There's just not even a question of a doubt. You just can't go back, no matter who or what or how. You just can't go back. It's just, it'd be abusing yourself. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You freed yourself in so many ways, and just, you're right, you cannot go back. And then you're right in saying the reality is reflecting your inner shift. And I've heard you express how your relationship with your kids are just evolving and expanding so beautifully.
Most definitely, yeah. I know they know mum's different. They don't know what. My youngest one knows all about you and what I do, what I've done, and some of it she gets, and obviously some of it she doesn't, and that's fine. But she encourages me. And it's, the simple things she said to me only a few weeks ago. Mum, I've noticed that you're really comfortable in saying no when you need to. And I looked at her, and how small that seems to some people is really huge for me. because I was always the yes girl, no matter what it took, no matter what it was. You know, even 2-3 years ago, I was warned, you know, I was diagnosed with PTSD and I was warned to stop what I was doing, otherwise I would drop. And that scared the bejeebers out of me. So I stopped immediately. I always knew there was more to this world, but I didn't know who, what, and how. And I would always ask the universe, please send me or send somebody. There's got to be more to life than this, you know. And then you came along. And I felt like I started kindergarten again, which was amazing, you know. So I will ever, ever, ever be so grateful that you were born.
Oh, Donna, my love, I'm just so grateful to be journeying with you and witnessing you. And when you started the method, like you just took to the processes so beautifully. I feel like you've just honored the work and everything here so powerfully. So thank you for reflecting that. And I'm so glad I could be here with you too. But tell me, as you went through the process and you joined the community, like we have the modules, so you actually have, I suppose it's like a roadmap really to meet yourself in your own consciousness. How did you find those processes and the meditations? And I know initially there was a little bit of, you know, constriction. It was like another layer for you to even kind of immerse into those. But how did you find the method, the consciousness method?
The consciousness method, I mean, I've been meditating almost every single day for a very, very long time. And I found that part okay. I didn't get as much out of the meditations, but I feel that the journaling and the Zoom calls were my flavour.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never experienced anything. I've never done Zoom calls. And I was like, oh, Zoom calls, courses, whatever. No, that's a bit of a rort. I don't really believe in that. And then, you know, from the retreat, I thought, right, I'm doing this. And it's just opened up a whole new world. It really, really has. But at first, it felt a little bit foreign because there was still the old me beating myself up. You can't do this. You're too stupid. But with the group chats as well, I find that absolutely profound and amazing. It's like I have found truly my tribe. These people get me. I get them. People cry. You know, we have tears running down our face. There is absolutely no judgment whatsoever. There is nothing but love and understanding. And that aspect blows me away still to today. It really, really does. And I feel that I've found a few friends through this that I love catching up with them. And it's amazing that I found these people that speak my language and I speak theirs. So overall, I just think it's the most, I don't know, mind-blowing thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh, Donna.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so happy you feel free.
I do. I so do. I've got more work. I always have, you know, a belief that, you know, we learn to the day that we die. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
And it's like, I'm actually quite happy to continue to learn now, to study, to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the amazing thing. You're so connected with your consciousness where it's just evolving you. So every moment is just an opportunity to go deeper into your relationship with yourself. And that's what I also love about this consciousness. It's like we're never trapped. We're never victims. We're always just being offered the next piece in our own puzzle. And the mirror is there of reality to show us. And I've seen you like step in and meet that time and time again and get really uncomfortable to stretch past the limited version of yourself, to meet things and evolve things. And it's just like a miracle to watch what happens.
Oh, it's so funny because you take people in a different direction that we're not raised to believe or we don't know about. It's foreign, you know, the world, you know, doesn't teach us to go with our feelings and our emotions and our truth. And, you know, I also tell a close girlfriend of mine who lives in Canberra everything as well. And she's even commented recently, you know, how my way of thinking is different now, that I'm not so the victim. And she just says, wow, you would never have done that. You would never have said that. You would never have no. And I go, really? She goes, yeah. So because it's been a gradual process over the last, you know, since last November, you don't notice it as much yourself. You just feel more joyous within yourself. You know, some days I walk around smiling and think, what are you smiling at? And then I just laugh at myself. So, yeah. And I've not allowed myself to do that. So, wow. Yeah.
I remember I ran into you at a cafe just recently and I was like, oh my gosh, Donna's whole energetic signature has shifted dramatically since I met you in November. I almost didn't recognize you in the flesh. You look like a completely different human. I mean, I'm very sensitive to that energetic imprint, but your whole being has taken on a new way of expressing itself in reality, which is a whole new version of reality.
Yes, most definitely. I was so afraid to express anything, given, you know, all the life lessons. And it's really weird, isn't it? When you do learn how to express in a positive way, you go, oh, that was easy. Oh, they didn't respond the way that I thought they were. Oh, you know, and it's like, is this it? That was easy. Oh, I get it now. Yeah.
It's so good. It's like you cross that fear the first time and then you're like, oh, this is a piece of cake. What was I worried about that whole time? You've totally liberated.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's something. Yeah.
That's amazing. And is there anything else you'd like to share about your journey that...
Look, if I can do it, anybody can do it, no matter what age. You know, I'm a grandmother of 10 now, and it's like, so I've lived a few decades, and it's like, don't wait, don't punish yourself, don't keep beating yourself up. And I'm not saying don't go and have therapy, but, you know, do something for yourself and join one of your classes or courses or retreats, because people will never look back, ever, ever, ever. Like, and the biggest thing that I find as well is how you're there for everybody. It blows me away. Like the retreat last year, 60 people, but you were there for everybody. There was no queuing up. There was no, oh, I'll get to you tomorrow. It was like you were there, and even with this 6-month Zoom course, you are there for everybody. And I don't really feel that I've had a lot of people like that in my life at all, if ever. And it's helped me to know what it is that I need and want, because I've always been the giver. So it's been amazing how you support every single person. Nobody has to queue up. Nobody has to wait till next week. And it just blows me away. Yeah. Your support means everything. It really does.
Thank you, Donna.
You're very
love
welcome.
You. I love you all.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad you can feel it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. That means everything to me. And I'm just honored and blown away by the way you've committed to your evolution, the way you've stepped in, the way you've embodied your consciousness, your journey, your relationship to the source of you and your wholeness. And I see it in every cell of you. And yes, the evolution will continue, but I just want you to know how wonderful and proud you should be of yourself, because you've done it. You freed yourself this lifetime. You really have. Yeah. And you will keep doing it. Any layer that arises now, you have the capacity to do that. And I see you as this free divine essence, which is Oh, just the greatest gift, Donna.
It is. It so is. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see you in November. We're going to have such a good time.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to join in on the retreat, that retreat is the beginning of changing your life or the ongoing expansion, being in that room with all those humans and doing this work. It's
Most definitely.
It's indescribable.
Oh, yeah. You have to do it. You just seriously have to do it. Yeah.
We have to. We'll be there together.
Every human owes it to themselves. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, so much love to you, Donna. Thank you for your
so much.
time. Thank you for your beautiful words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure to spend this time with you, and to say thank you, I'd like to share with you 3 beautiful meditations to explore your core wounding and a collection of masterclasses. You'll find these in your show notes. And if you feel the synergy to this path, know that it is available to you also.